and welcome back. It is so good to be filming a video for you guys. I haven't sat down for what seems like ages since the summer break. I've had a little bit of time off, but I'm back, I'm ready for action. But here I am, back with a vengeance. And if this is your first time here and you're thinking, who is this crazy person? Hello, my name is Jem. This is my channel, Wheelsnoheels. It's dedicated to making videos all about my life with a disability, helping others feel less alone, the way I did when I was growing up. Just basically raising as much awareness as possible. Today, or September, marks Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, along with many other awarenesses during the month. I do know that it's also Chronic Pain Awareness Month. I know that because I suffer with chronic pain. So if you want to let us know what other awareness month it is, then please feel free to drop it down below so people can check through the comments and think, I did not know it was Bad Eyebrow Awareness Month. Anywho, moving on. This month, September, marks Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. So I'm hoping to do a few spinal cord injury awareness videos. And today I thought that I would start off by explaining exactly what a spinal cord injury is, and I also want to raise awareness of things that I wish people also knew about, because I think that when a person who has never been affected by disability, has never been affected by spinal cord injuries, hears spinal cord injury, they think a few things. One, that you're paralysed, which, well, is kind of true. Two, if you're paraplegic, then you're paralysed from the waist down, that's that. If you're quadriplegic, you're paralysed from the neck down, and that's that. And I think that is all people really know about spinal cord injuries, but there are so many things other than that, which is why I'm here today in front of you to tell you exactly what else and try and explain a little bit more about what a spinal cord injury is. So, what is a spinal cord injury? Well, the spinal cord is a bundle of cells that run from the neck all the way down through the spinal column. And a spinal cord injury is usually as a result of some sort of trauma to the spinal cord, such as a complete tear, a partial tear, or a bruise. 250,000 to 500,000 people across the globe are affected by spinal cord injuries every year. The most at-risk category of people for spinal cord injuries are white males between the ages of 20 to 29. The most common causes of spinal cord injuries are road traffic accidents, falls, violence, and sporting injuries. Spinal cord injuries are one of the most devastating injuries that a human can face. You can go from 100% healthy, as fit as a fiddle, to being extremely disabled and dependent upon others. However, that doesn't mean that you can't live a happy and fulfilling life. There are many people doing amazing things and living a happy and fulfilled life with a spinal cord injury. A spinal cord injury is as unique as an individual human fingerprint. If you met another person with a T10 incomplete spinal cord injury, which is the same injury to me, their symptoms or what they can and can't do will be completely different to what I can or can't do. No injury is exactly the same. Now, to keep this video simple, I'm going to try and keep it very basic because spinal cord injuries are very complex. So there are two main categories of a spinal cord injury. There is what is called a complete spinal cord injury, and there is what is known as an incomplete spinal cord injury. With a complete injury, the spinal cord is completely severed. There will be no sensation below the injury. there will be no movement, and both sides will equally be affected. With an incomplete injury, such as mine, the spinal cord is only partially damaged or bruised, and there may be some sort of sensation below the injury, there may be some movement below the injury, and both sides are not always equally affected. You may have one side stronger than the other. Now, a lot of the time you may hear people saying, what level is your injury at? For example, my injury is T10 incomplete, and you may be thinking, what does the numbers mean? I've seen the T10, T12, I've seen the C3, and I've seen like L2 and what have you. But let me just explain that a little bit further. So the incomplete, obviously I have just explained, you've got the complete and the incomplete. Now with the level of injury, you've got the spinal column, and that is divided into 4 main categories. There is another little tiny category underneath, but not that they're not important, but I'm just going to keep it really nice and simple today. You've got the cervical, you've got the thoracic, you've got the lumbar, and you've got the sacrum. I really hope I'm saying these right. So I fall into the T category, the thoracic category, which is below the cervical. And each of those categories are then numbered. So the cervical has 8 points, the thoracic has 12 points, the lumbar has 5 points, and the sacrum has 5 points. So if you look down onto the spinal cord, mine is T10, so what you would do is you would look in the thoracic region. Mine is T10, so that is the area where my spinal cord has been damaged. Now the higher up the injury that you go, the higher up the body that is damaged. So anything from T1 and above would usually result in a quadriplegic, and anything from T1 and below would result in paraplegic. Some cervical injuries are so high that sometimes the chest is affected, and some patients may need to be on a ventilator to help them breathe. So hopefully that's sort of cleared up what those numbers and letters mean for you. So another thing that I wanted to touch upon is the difference between a quadriplegic and a paraplegic, which I have sort of spoken about already. So a quadriplegic, as I said, is T1 and above. People may need to use a ventilator, and all 4 limbs will be affected. But depending on the level of their injury, depending on whether their injury is complete or incomplete, which I've spoken about already, so you know about them, would be dependent upon what they can do. So I do know a lot of quadriplegics who can use their arms, but there are still a lot of things that they can do. I also know Alyssa, hello Alyssa, I hope you're watching, who's got the Instagram page Wheelie Life in the Wheelie World, who was my wheelie of the week over on Instagram. That's go over to Instagram if you want to find out more about that. She is a quadriplegic and she can stand. So what is a paraplegic? A paraplegic is someone who is usually affected from T1 and below. So it will usually be the legs that are affected and not the arms. And it is possible for people who are paraplegics to walk. I think a lot of people think, oh, you're paraplegic, that means you can't walk and you can't stand. But that's not the case. There are people who can walk, they can walk a little bit. I hope that sort of clears up that aspect. But now what I want to do is I want to address the side effects that come with a spinal cord injury, because I think everything that I have just told you, people are generally a little bit aware of, but what goes alongside the spinal cord injuries are very much not really spoken about, and I really think that there should be more awareness of it, because we suffer with these things every single day. So what are the other side effects that go alongside a spinal cord injury? Obviously, once the spinal cord is damaged and you are unable to move certain areas of your body, then you are going to start to have muscle wastage. And obviously, you know, you're more than welcome to go and have a look over on my Instagram, where you can see my lovely legs are super skinny. I don't know if they are super skinny. It's because there is muscle wastage, so that is why they look like that. So muscle wastage is one of them. Also, loss of feeling. When you've got an incomplete injury, you still do have feeling, but it's not the same. So I have done a whole video on this, so please be sure to check it out if you haven't already. It's what does being paralysed feel like. I highly recommend that you go and watch that and share that. But I do talk about, that I can't feel hot and cold very well. I can't feel sharp and soft very well. People who have a complete injury usually lose their sensation completely, but that doesn't mean that they are completely numb. We suffer from nerve pains because the nerves are still firing, but the messages aren't quite getting there. So along my right side, I will get very sharp nerve pains going through my legs. Another thing that goes alongside spinal cord injuries is chronic pain. I'm sure I speak for most of us that we are usually in constant pain with something going on somewhere within the body because we are not using our bones and legs and muscles. We are prone to things like osteoporosis as well. Another thing which I've sort of briefly touched upon is people with T1 and above injuries may need to use a ventilator. They may have breathing difficulties. Some people can't control their blood pressure. Another thing we can't control, or some people can't control, is their temperature. So on very, very hot days, it's intensified, and I suffer with the cold actually, and I can't my legs don't warm themselves up. Also, we don't sweat below the injury, which again messes with our temperature control. People suffer with digestive problems. Other people suffer with bowel and bladder control. So some people have to self-catheterize and have bowel programs and things like that. Another thing is pressure sores, and these are really debilitating and can be really, really dangerous. Pressure sores happen when you're not moving so much and you're in a position for a long period of time. These pressure sores can get ulcerated, they can get infected, they can get really, really nasty, and some people have to be hospitalized, and in some cases it can be life-threatening. Believe me, I've seen it and it's not pretty at all. Another thing is, when I touched upon the bladder control, is UTIs, urinary tract infections, because of self-catheterization and things like that. Very prone to urinary infections. Drink, 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 drink. Another thing is muscle spasms. They're fun, not. When our muscles all kind of have a little party of their own. Yeah, I get that, and it's so annoying. I also get cramps. I don't know if anyone else out there gets cramps, but I get cramps as well, which is really, really annoying and painful sometimes as well. Obviously, with all those wonderful side effects will come the old mental health problems. Yes, I've suffered a few in my time. So yeah, a spinal cord injury is so much more to just a person in a wheelchair. There are lots of things going on below the surface. So I hope this video has been of use to you. I hope that it's raised a bit of awareness and you've learned something today. If you have learned something today, be sure to let me know down below. I have done my best to get this video as accurate as possible. There are some things that I may not have touched upon because I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. There may be some things that I have got slightly wrong. I've tried my best. If I have got anything wrong, then please be sure. I don't mind if you just want to very nicely and politely put it down below. That's absolutely fine. And if you want to raise any awareness of your spinal cord injury, then please feel free to drop that down below. I've got lots of videos going on this month that are going to be of use to you, so please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Push that bell notification if you have subscribed already. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and being here. You know, our community is growing every day and I am just thrilled to have you. Thank you so much. Bye.